Welcome back to Next Shift with Rick Wagan. Suzuki does not suck. This is the end of the season show where the Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup for the second time in a row. So I'd like to talk a little bit about the NHL season ending and the Montreal Canadiens on their off season about to get interesting. As you all know, the Montreal Canadiens have the two first round picks this year. They have the 16th and 17th overall picks. They have Ivan Demidov, who basically coming in as a fresh rookie next season. Congratulations to Lane Hutson, who won the Rookie of the Year Calder trophy. Also, congratulations to my boy Cutter Gauthier back there, who made it to the all-rookie team. Congratulations to him. And when we're talking about the Montreal Canadiens, we're talking about next season. The Montreal Canadiens made the playoffs, a huge jump from the last couple of seasons, and now they're ready to compete. And so what do they need? Everyone's talking about it. They need a second centerman or a second line player to help play with Demidov. And they also need a right defenseman. Will it be Reinbach or will it be a veteran to kind of step in and play? Let's put it this way. The Montreal Canadiens top three forwards, Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slafkovsky, are pretty much hard-coded in for another great season. Hopefully this season Slafkovsky can start on time and he'll have a great 82-game season. We're not worried about Caulfield and Suzuki as long as everyone can stay healthy. It could be a great first line. That being said, Demidov could always compete for joining that first line. We have Patrick Laine, who had a rough season overall. I mean, obviously his shot is elite, and he came in and really made his mark on the power play. Not the greatest 5-on-5 season. We'll see where he turns out. And then you have Kirby Dach, who had a lot of hope coming into the season, took a long time to get started, finally began to get into his own, and then tore up his knee. He had a terrible defensive season, obviously minus 29 or 27. I can't remember. I'm not looking at the stats. I apologize. But it wasn't the best defensive season. And I think what we've noticed is he'll probably end up on the wing, either in the middle six position, whether it's in the second or third line, again, depending on injuries and how things play out. The Montreal Canadiens are looking for another forward. I believe they're looking at multiple opportunities, whether it's a young forward that can kind of step in and play for the next 10 seasons for the Montreal Canadiens. That could be McTavish, that could be a Peterka, that could be a lot of players out there that they can look to trade for. Or they could be looking for somebody to fill the gap for the next 3 seasons, and that could be somebody like a Nazem Kadri or a Bo Horvat or a Sidney Crosby. We'll have to see how it all plays out. Jason Robertson is available. Look for trades. There's a lot of players that are on the trade market. There's more buyers than sellers. So again, it's going to be difficult to find the right player. Although the Montreal Canadiens do have a ton of draft capital, they have a ton of prospects that may either not make it on the Canadiens or not fit their desires. As everyone knows, I think I'm repeating myself from the end of the season. It looked like the Montreal Canadiens are looking for that second line player that can actually play with Demidov. I don't think it's Laine. It could be Dach. It could be another on the wing, I should say. It could be a bunch of different players they could trade for. They're looking for somebody who can play a 200-foot game, solid offense, could put the puck in the net. It could be, like I said, a Jason Robertson type of player. It could be a Marco Rossi type of player. But I really do believe they're looking for a big, strong centerman. There's a few different players that have been talked about. I believe they're going to go look for that. Other option that people are understanding is Caleb Desnoyers is available potentially through a trade with Utah. Utah is looking to maybe trade their 4th overall pick. Again, the Montreal Canadiens have players like Mailloux. They have players like Roy. They have players like Beck, Kapanen. All of these players could be players that join the team, or they could be players they can use as trade assets. From a bottom 6 forward perspective, and I should say this, I'm a big fan of Heineman. Heineman played on the 4th line. He could continue to play on the 4th or 3rd line on the Montreal Canadiens, or he could get his shot to play on the top line with a Demidov and, let's say, I don't know, a Nazem Kadri or Bo Horvat or Sidney Crosby type player. We'll see how it all plays out. I'm more inclined to look for that offensive player. The Montreal Canadiens have a ton of great defensemen. Struble, Jacky, Gouli, Matheson, obviously Lane Hutson, and Carrier. So from a defensive perspective, with Reinbacher coming up and maybe getting his shot, it could be very, very interesting. On the goaltender front, I believe Montembeault proved that he could play, 60 plus games. Dobish showed that he has some talent. And the Canadiens have Jacob Fowler in the minors, and I think that's where he's going to stay for another year. I thought he showed some signs of greatness in the AHL. However, I also believe that he needs some tuning, and he probably needs to spend at least one, maybe a couple seasons in the minor leagues. So the Canadiens are really looking to bolster their right defense side, and that could be a big type of defenseman, somebody that can step in, kind of the old Edmondson and Chariot type of role, or Shea Weber type of role. I mean, those are tough players to replace or to get, but there's a lot of players in the NHL. And again, Wayne Gretzky was traded at one point. So with the amount of assets the Montreal Canadiens have, I believe that they're going to do just fine. We won't talk today about the overall, salaries and some of the things that might happen. Guys like Anderson, guys like Gallagher are going to get another season in the NHL. They might play with Evans. Players like Kapanen look like they're ready to take a jump. Players like Beck. But again, I can see the Montreal Canadiens making some trades, delving into the free agency. Again, I'm saying a lot of things that a lot of people have said. All in all, I'm really, really looking forward to the next couple of weeks. We're June 18th. July 1st is around the corner in 2 weeks. A lot should happen between now and the end of the season and ultimately the free agency. So we have a draft coming up in a couple of weeks, 10 days. The free agency happening on July 1st. And so all in all, it's been a great and exciting next couple of weeks for us. So looking forward to the Montreal Canadiens, looking forward to how it's going to play out. I'm looking forward to watching what Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton can do. Also, shout out to Martin St. Louis, who finished third in the Jack Adams Trophy, as well as Nick Suzuki, who finished in the top 10 in Hart Trophy and Selke in a bunch of different trophy categories. So very, very exciting next couple of weeks. Looking forward to it. Can't wait to see what happens. I believe the Montreal Canadiens are going to take a big splash. That being said, there's a lot of teams out there with a lot of cap space. It might be difficult to get there. The Canadiens have a lot of good players, whether they make changes or not. Let's see how it goes. That's it for me. That's it for Next Shift. Suzuki does not suck. Talk to you guys soon.